This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
Welcome back. Chad Smith with the Missouri Department of Conservation is here joining me this morning to talk a little bit about some winter fishing options. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Well, let's talk a little bit. We've got some cool activities going on, some things you guys are doing here at Spur Pond. What do we got going on?
Sure, yeah, at Spur Pond we have an agreement with the city of Kirksville that allows us stocking of trout in the Spur Pond. Right now it's a catch and release season, and then starting February 1st you can actually catch and keep trout out of Spur Pond. You do have to have a special permit, a trout permit to keep fish out of the pond, and starting February 1st. Right now all you need is your fishing license. We stock about 1,500 fish in Spur Pond, anywhere from 3/4 to 1/4 of a pound, and then we always throw in about a dozen large 3 to 5 pound trout as well, so kind of a bonus fish out there to keep people interested. And it's a really neat opportunity to catch and take home trout in North Missouri. Usually you have to go south to the hatcheries and some of the trout parks down there to catch trout. So.
And now you guys are also doing some things with Thomas Hills as well.
Sure.
I mean, well, it's kind of a place that people are still able to fish at, which is kind of a rarity right now with how we're getting snow outside, the ice is accumulating, but you have some information about Thomas Hill.
Yeah, Thomas Hill Lake is, the reason the reservoir's there is it cools Associated Electric's power plant, so they're always discharging warm water that was used to cool their turbines. So the water stays open year-round on the south end of the lake, and a pretty vast body of water that stays open year-round. So those guys that really like to get out there in their boats, no problem launching. We have courtesy docks there, boat ramps. It's just a really good opportunity to get out and catch some winter fish. A lot of guys crappie fish at Thomas Hill and do pretty well. We also had hybrid striped bass in Thomas Hill, which is an exciting sport fish to catch as well.
Yeah, I've caught a few of those actually back in my day. They are a fun fish to catch. Now, so despite the ice coming, the snow coming, there are still places people can get out there and fish. You guys are helping stock ponds. Now, with ice fishing, we talked a little bit before this about some ice fishing, and you guys have some few suggestions for that.
Yeah, it is a winter opportunity that's available. A lot of our conservation areas have small 1 to 2 acre ponds. Once that ice gets thick enough, it does provide a good opportunity for guys to get out and do some ice fishing for small panfish. There's a lot of people in northern Missouri that really enjoy doing that. We do not check any ice thickness, anything like that. It's all at your own risk. So be sure that the ice is proper thickness to hold the weight of whoever's fishing before you get out there on the ice.
What would you suggest for a depth to start at, just to start checking and be like, all right, I can start walking out on this? It's usually what, 4 or 5 inches?
Yeah, I would recommend that. I'm a pretty big guy, so I would say 6 inches for a man like me, but it's just you need some pretty thick ice.
And
to get out
just
there
because
and feel
it's
safe.
4 to 5 inches at the edge of the lake does not mean it is that at the middle. So you want to constantly check as you work your way farther and farther out.
Yeah, safety is a big thing with ice fishing. It can be a lot of fun, but you got to make sure and you do it safely.
And always make sure you have someone going with you in case there's a problem. Everybody knows. Just like deer hunting, you want to make sure everybody knows where you're at. You have a cell phone to contact you at all times.
Right.
Now, we are talking a little bit more about hunting, and we were talking between the breaks about the deer harvest this season, and you actually have some information about what was retrieved and some things to talk about with that. So
yeah, the deer season, the regular fall firearms deer season just ended about a week ago. We released the numbers there. We were down considerably this year on our deer harvest, harvested right around 160,000 deer. Normally we're around 200,000, so 200, 220, somewhere in there. We were down about 25% off our long-term average. And there's a lot of factors that contribute to that, but there's no doubt that there's a lower deer population now than there was 10 years ago. And last year we had a pretty severe outbreak of a hemorrhagic disease, or some people call it blue tongue virus. So there was parts of our state that had a very low deer population, and it definitely showed in our harvest. And then, like we were talking, weather does play a factor in harvest as well. Opening weekend we had gale force winds and a little bit of rain. But I say the most important factor, I think, is just our deer numbers are down considerably due to the severe outbreak last year that we had of hemorrhagic disease. So.
Well, great. That's some great information, and thanks for joining us today, Chad. It was a great time talking to you. And stay tuned. Good Morning Heartland will be right back.